Dying. It's not something we think about much, is it? I'm a doctor. And as a doctor, death and dying have been part of my working life. I've cared for people, young and old, people with terminal illnesses, people who've suffered acute illnesses or tragic accidents. I've lost family members and friends too. But despite this, I'd never given much thought to my own death, to me dying. People say you might get hit by a bus tomorrow. Well, if my mortality was a bus, it was always something I could just see, out of the corner of my eye, way over there. I knew it was there. We all do. But how I'd go about my daily life, work, the shopping, the school run, without giving it a second thought, assuming it would remain far off in the future, not coming into full view until I'm old. But what if we did think about our own deaths? Really think about it? What would we do differently? What would we do to prepare? And how would we live that in the everyday? It all changed for me last October. I was 34, with 3 small children and plans for the life ahead of me. I noticed a lump and been referred to the breast clinic, where I had a mammogram, ultrasound and a biopsy. I had to wait a week for the results. Even though I knew cancer was a possibility, I still didn't really believe it could be. And so, as my husband works away from home, I went to the appointment alone. Suddenly, that bus was right here, right in front of me. Cancer. What thought I had given to my own death had always been fairly abstract. When we had our first child, I'd done the sensible things. I wrote a will, got life insurance, but I never truly thought about the reality of it. The reality of the things I might never do, or the realization that I might be doing something for the last time. Being forced to confront our own mortality is terrifying. But now, suddenly, I had to. It can be hard dealing with people's reactions. No one really knows what to say, and sometimes I feel it's me who needs to support them. I can talk to people about my cancer in a practical, matter-of-fact way, without getting upset. I cry with my husband. But I don't want to be crying in front of everyone. It was difficult telling my children. My girls, aged 6 and 4, and my little boy, who's 2. When I was diagnosed, I was given a picture book called Mummy's Lump, which we read together. I didn't want to hide from them what was going on, for them to know something was wrong, but to not know what it was. My 4-year-old especially enjoyed the page where Mummy has lost all of her hair and her wig is hung up as she asked in a fit of giggles, "Why has Mummy taken her hair off?" People ask about my risk factors. Often they're looking for reassurance, for me to give them a reason why this has happened to me. To tell them, don't worry, it won't happen to you. But I can't. I'm young. I don't have a strong family history of breast cancer or any other particular risk factors. I breastfed all 3 of my children, which is protective, and yet, here I am. We assume bad things always happen to other people. We ask, why me? But from my years as a doctor, I'm all too aware that the real question is why not? The truth is, our lives can change or end at any moment. That bus can go from there to here, like that. I've been thrown into non-stop appointments: breast care nurses, breast surgeon, plastic surgeon, radiologist, oncologist, chemotherapy nurses, counsellor, wig fitting, even a makeup session where I learnt to fill in my thinning eyebrows. There's a huge amount of information, so many decisions to make, what type of surgery to have. It's hard to take it all in. They told me not to rush into any decisions I might come to regret. But all I want is to survive to be able to have regrets. As time's passed, I've realized that the bus isn't here, right in front of me. It's further away. I'm not going to die tomorrow, or next week, or even next month. I can still see it though. It's coming, and I feel like I can't move. After being told I had cancer, one thought was at the forefront of my mind. What do I do now? I wondered if I needed to go to Disneyland. They don't give you a handbook when you're diagnosed. They don't say, you've had some terrible news. Here's what to do next. So I started asking people, family, friends, hospital staff, what do I do now? And each time, the same reply: do what's right for you. But I didn't know what was right for me. I'm someone who likes a plan. I want to tick things off, to know that I'm making progress. So I started making a list. A few things immediately came to mind. I finally organised the christening for our son that had been on my to-do list since he was born 2 years ago, but I just hadn't got round to it. We didn't have any pictures of the 5 of us together, so I arranged for us to have some professional family photos done. I wanted to get them done quickly before I started my chemotherapy and lost all of my long, dark hair. We did the photo shoot at home in our garden. The photographer explained it's easier to manage the children in a small space. Otherwise, we just end up with lots of pictures of them running away. Even in our garden, though, it was a challenge to get them to keep still. In the end, we had to bribe them with breadsticks. Friends have since commented that that was a pretty rubbish bribe, but it worked. I struggled to come up with a bucket list. I spent a long time thinking about it. What do I really want to do before I die? But I realized I don't want to climb a mountain or see the pyramids. All I truly want is to raise my children. But that isn't something you can simply tick off a list. So I thought about my children, what I can do for them, what I can leave behind for them to remember me. I thought about buying them cards for all the milestones, all the things you see cards for: passing exams, driving tests, buying a house, getting married. But they might not do any of those things. Unless something terrible happens, though, they'll definitely reach 18. So I've bought them all 18th birthday presents. And if I do get through this, then I'm just being extremely organised. Now, I'm writing a book for them. A book with all the advice I'd love to give them as they grow. Advice from Mummy. There are so many things I want to share with them, to teach them. The lessons I've learned from my successes and failures. To tell them about me and my life, and to guide them through theirs. I want to help them to be confident and resilient, to not let my illness define them. We wanted to make some happy memories, so we did go to a theme park. Not Disneyland, but one near where we live. We had a fantastic time. But we can't go to theme parks every day. The children still need to go to school. The bins still need to be put out. The bills still need to be paid. Sometimes it just feels like I've added breast cancer treatment to all of the other things I'm trying to juggle. People tell me I'm brave, but I'm not. I have to get on with it. What other choice do I have? I'm trying to be positive, to make plans. We're hoping to take time out from work and travel as a family. But I know those plans might not be realized. I don't know what will happen. I finished my chemotherapy. Last week I had surgery, and soon I'll start radiotherapy. The statistics tell me that this treatment plan improves survival. But that's meaningless if it doesn't work for me. All of the talk of fighting, battling, beating cancer, for me, implies that if you don't make it, you haven't tried hard enough. As a doctor, and now as a patient, I know that that's not fair. It's out of my hands. Even if the treatment is successful, I know the cancer can come back years later, or there could be complications from the treatment down the line. I could worry about it, always. I've noticed, though, that I've let the bus slip back out of view. When I received my diagnosis, it was right here, right in front of me. Facing it made me sick with worry. I was desperate to go back to the time when I could just get on with my life without thinking about my death. But now, letting it move out of sight, letting go of that sense of urgency, worries me too. I don't want to get to the end of my life and have regrets. Having to face my own mortality in many ways is helping me to focus on what's important to me and to grasp each moment. I've stopped keeping things for best. I wear my best clothes and I light my best candles. We don't often talk about death, and when we do, we talk about other people's deaths, or we talk about it in an abstract way. But that's not the same as really facing it. We are all going to die. Any one of us could get hit by that bus tomorrow. So what if we did think about it? Really face our own deaths? What would you do differently? What would you do to prepare? And how would you live, really knowing that you will die? Everything in my life has shifted. Maybe the bus will swerve, maybe it won't. I can't make assumptions about my future. I may not have time to do all I want to do. But that was always true. I just didn't think about it. For now, though, I'll cherish each moment with my children, chasing them around the garden and bribing them with breadsticks.